So, you've probably been wondering where I've been the last few months. Have not been active on social media. I haven't come out with any new videos. I've barely been replying to OnlyFans messages. And I thought that the best way to tell you would be with my face and with my mouth rather than through a text message or anything like that. So, I made the decision a few months ago to try to start phasing out sex work. And by sex work in this context, I mean camming and making videos. And I'll get into why in just a second, but I just want to walk you through my journey in the industry. I started dancing when I was 19, did that all throughout my adult life, and in 2019, I started camming. The reason I started camming is it gave me the freedom and the control that I really needed in that moment. So I was in a really abusive relationship. I was living in Texas. I didn't have any friends or family nearby. I was put into terrible situation after terrible situation after terrible situation. And so I did have a job, but I needed something really quick to get my own place and to get out of that situation. And camming was perfect for me in that moment. It was my saving grace. I was able to move out, get my own place, and then eventually move back home where I was close to friends and family. But the freedom of choosing your own schedule is a freedom that not a lot of people have. And it's something that I've experienced most of my life with the jobs that I've had, thanks to the sex industry. I don't think that I would ever have as much freedom as I've had in my adult life if it weren't for the industry. I also suffer from some mental illness as well, and so being able to have an industry that will always be there and I don't have to worry about getting fired, and I can take as many days off as I need to if I'm having a bad time. It was the best thing for me, and it continued to be the best thing for me for a really long time. But the need to always be on, that feeling of always having to be the top of your game at every second of every day, because with camming, there's a lot of marketing that you have to do and a lot of especially camming OnlyFans combo that I was doing. There's a lot of photo shoots, a lot of video shoots, a lot of responding to messages. It was a lot, a lot, a lot. So I had to be on top of my game all the time. I was constantly working, sometimes 14, 16-hour days. And but the thing is, I was so passionate about it. I love creating things, and I love photography, and I love the tech side of everything. That's kind of how Twitch pulled me in. This was just a little over a year ago. I was finding myself in a rut. I had just got out of another not great relationship, and I was feeling stuck and a little lost and just bored with my life. And I had found a good groove with camming and with posting on OnlyFans. And, I had my dedicated fans, is what I will call them. And I was doing great for myself. But I still found myself so bored and so restless and so antsy. And I needed something to distract myself. I needed something to not think about what was going on in my life. And so that's how I found Twitch. I've always been a huge gamer, and so I thought I could use this time more efficiently. I could be gaming with a group of people right now on Twitch. I'd been thinking about it on and off for honestly a few years at this point. And so I decided just to do it. What's stopping me? There's nothing to lose at this point. And so I started streaming and I absolutely fell in love. The reaction that I got was, to me, quite big. I'm not a huge streamer. I'm not a top earner. I don't have a million followers. My viewer count isn't tremendous, but I am extremely proud of the progress that I've made, even just in the first few months of streaming, of being on the platform. I made tremendous growth, and not even necessarily in followers or viewers or financially, but the community that I was growing and how much I was opening myself up to this opportunity and how much I was allowing myself to actually heal. And I didn't even realize that until just a few months ago when I just made this decision to phase out sex work. Is wow, like I really am in such a great place mentally right now. Really am in such a good place mentally. But the community that I was growing and the people that I was bringing in and the openness that I had for myself and the relationship that I was growing with myself, Twitch made it so easy to stick to my commitments because I loved it so much. It's so fun. I get to hang out with the best people that I know because my community really is, they really are the best people that I know. Twitch made sticking to my commitments so easy. And in turn, that improved the relationship that I had with myself, which wasn't great. And so I'm very thankful for that as well. Twitch has improved my self esteem by so much. And not even like my physical appearance, but just like who I am as a person and accepting myself and my weirdness and my goofiness and realizing that there are people that will accept me because that's truly how I feel with the community that I've built. They accept me for who I am. The more I started streaming and the more I got familiar with how much I could be accepted and all of these wonderful feelings like being heard and being celebrated and being loved and accepted and all of these wonderful things, it made me never want to go back to camming ever again because in that space, I was judged and looked down upon and stigmatized and victimized and criminalized. And I didn't have any workers' rights. And I was, it's hard to get relationships. Like the reasons that sex work is not the best option are endless, but mostly because of the social stigma, mostly because of the legislation that is in place right now. It's not because sex work in itself is inherently bad. I'll never say that. But feeling all of these wonderful things and being accepted by the community that I built by just being me and just being able to be myself, it made me never want to go back to that. Because I'd never thought that I could ever exist on the internet as Nova and experience all of these wonderful things. I never thought that in a million years, Nova would experience the love and acceptance and community that I am like experiencing with my Twitch community. And it really is beautiful, and it has been an extremely life-changing thing. And so I'm so thankful. It's been terrible for my camming career though. I'm just so thankful that I have found a space where I can be my true self and people like me for me, and not just the way that I look or like the things that I can offer them. So, just being vulnerable here, some of the fears that I've had with this whole transition of phasing out sex work is relying on my community for my financial stability. That is some of the scariest and most guilty feelings that I've ever had. And making this decision, I know that there might be hard times. And I know that not every month is going to be great. And I know that I'm putting a lot of weight on the people in my community. And that's a really scary thing and makes me feel extremely guilty. And trust me when I say that I did not come to this decision lightly of going completely full time on Twitch and taking it on as my full time job. It was definitely something that I waffled back and forth on for a while. And I made sure that I had at least 3 consistent months before I made any decisions, before I made any leaps. And so I'm very, very, very thankful for everyone in my community that has supported my channel. That's you guys are truly the only reason I was able to make this life-changing decision for myself, and you all have changed my fucking life, and I could not be more grateful and more proud of myself and of you guys and just everything that we've done together. But there's still always that fear of relying on you guys too much, and if you guys leave tomorrow, if my community decides tomorrow that they hate me, what would I do? Who knows what would happen? But the thing is, I'm so passionate about this that that fear is something that I'm willing to accept. That fear is something that I'm okay with because I love the position that I'm in so much that that's a fear that I'm okay with having. So I think the best thing I love about Twitch is when I'm streaming, when I'm online, I'm laughing so much. I can do a 12-hour stream like it's nothing. And I get to let my creativity soar. And I get to meet so many new people. And I get to do all of the cosplays that I've ever wanted to do. And I get to let my art shine. There's so many things, and I'm in complete control of my stream and what I want to do and the schedule that I have and the kind of people that I want in here. And I think the craziest thing about it all is I've always been able to do those things. I've always been able to control my schedule and control who's in my room and control the kinds of clients that I have and control the type of vibe that I want to give out. But I think with camming, I felt more constricted. I think I felt more constricted with camming because it was solely for money. Like I was doing that as my job. With Twitch, I started off just doing it for fun, and I was doing it because I love playing video games and I love hanging out with people, and I wasn't expecting a payoff or anything at all with it. But the more I grew, the more I started earning, and I just kept doing what I loved with Twitch, and eventually I got to the point where I could sustain myself solely by doing what I love, which is playing video games and hanging out with people. And so with camming, I felt like I have to fit a certain type of mold because I have to pay my bills, you know? But with Twitch, like, because it started off as a hobby, I was able to just let my freak flag fly in a sense. Just be my total self with no pressure of having to, oh, I have to work this many hours or I have to earn this much money this month and this per stream or whatever. There was none of that. And there still really isn't any of that now, which I'm so thankful for. I am not performing. And that's the biggest thing about it is in no way on Twitch am I performing. And on as a cam girl, when I was camming, it was a heavy performance. Another really big thing that I love about Twitch and a really important aspect that it does for me is I have so much love to give. I have so much love to give. Just, I have so much care and so much attention to give people. And sometimes that might be a little overbearing in my personal relationships. So, for me to have an entire community of people that I can care about and I can look after and I can ask how their day is going and I can remember their birthdays and just do a daily check-in with an entire community. It takes so much pressure off of my personal IRL friendships and relationships. Maybe that's unique for me personally, I don't know. But it has been so useful for me in my actual relationships. So, and just building something that I am actually proud of and building something that I can tell my grandparents about and something that I can talk to my parents about. Not that my parents were judgmental about my job, they knew exactly what I did or know exactly what I do, but it's just not a topic of conversation. So now being able to talk about my growth and talk about my success and talk about my progress with the people in my life, even my family, and to even give them the link and say, hey, like, check out my stream sometime, and not being nervous about it. Like, building something that I don't have to hide. And not to say that I was hiding it because I'm embarrassed or because I'm ashamed, but there is a stigma towards sex workers in our society, and it's undeniable. So, for my own safety, really, it was not something that I broadcasted a lot. And the worst thing that could happen going forward is someone using my story, someone using my story of transitioning out of sex work, as using it as a way to villainize the industry. Because in no way will I ever say that I wish I didn't do it, or I will never say that I regret doing it, or that it was a mistake, or that people shouldn't do it, because it made me who I am today. It made me into the person, the resilient and strong and funny and goofy and just all around everything that I am today. It helped sculpt that. And I'll always advocate for sex workers in the industry and for their safety and for their workers' rights. And I'll always be a safe space for other men and women in the industry. I'll always be a safe space for people that are struggling or need to vent or need advice or whatever. I have been in the industry for such a long time, and so I like to say that I'm quite experienced. So I don't want anyone to try to use my story as a way to say that it's bad, or that people shouldn't do it, or that it's not empowering for women, or whatever narrative. So going forward, what you can expect from me is I'm still going to keep my OnlyFans. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a price overhaul, a little bit of a content overhaul. It's going to be a little bit different content going forward. And with this content change, I do feel more motivated and more excited to do it. So I know that I'm going to be able to be more consistent with it, and I will dread it less, and it will just be better for everyone overall. So if you are currently subscribed, expect a big overhaul. Don't be alarmed. I love doing photo shoots. I'm still really passionate about photography and some videography, and I still want to give people a chance to chat with me one-on-one. And, like, I still appreciate what OnlyFans as a platform can give me and can give people. And I would like to still do it, but there will be quite a big overhaul. So expect that going forward. But I appreciate every single one of you. If you've gotten this far in this video, I cannot thank you enough, and I cannot express to you how much I appreciate you and how proud I am of you and of myself for getting us here. I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to get here and for allowing me to make this decision. It was one of the most liberating and freeing and scary decisions of my entire life. So, and I can only thank you all for it. So, anyway, please like and subscribe to my video, and if you want to see more content like this, please drop a comment. I hope you have a great day.